Hello and welcome again to Dorchester Baptist Church Online. I want to just talk this morning about the theme of God being in control. It's perhaps quite topical. Psalm chapter 103 verse 19 says, "The Lord has established his throne in heaven and his kingdom rules over all." In this passage, David is telling us, hey, God, he's the boss. This text is just David proclaiming and declaring the sovereignty of God, the might of God, the awesomeness of God, and how he's undefeated. He has no competition. In fact, God is in a league of his own. But what I love about the Bible is that no verse stands on its own. You see, it's a bold statement, isn't it, to say that God is number one. How can I make such a bold statement? How can I evidence that in other parts of the Bible? Well, this is why I believe Jesus kept on healing on the Sabbath. And you know, when he did that, it was getting on the Pharisees' nerves because they'd made up all sorts of rules and they said that this was wrong. But Jesus was like saying, well, wait a minute, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath, meaning I'm the only one who has the authority to exercise rulership over your rules because, well, quite simply, I made them. In fact, as you look closer at the life of Jesus, it couldn't be more evident that he is in control. So when he defies gravity and he walks on water, it's okay because he made the laws of physics, because he's God and he's in control. When he changes the laws of anatomy and he performs a medical anomaly by healing the blind, the lame and even the dead, he can change the laws of anatomy because he made them. When he changes the laws of food and he feeds 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, it's because he's the boss. I think I've made the point. You get what I'm trying to say. God's the boss, and we know it, not just because Psalm 103:19 tells us, but because everything about him shows us. And being the kind of person I am, I then think to myself, so if that's the case, why does stuff go wrong? According to actually my view of how things should be done and how I would do them if I were the boss. And I meet people almost on a weekly basis who have stuff in their lives that's just wrong. And as I've thought about this, all I can really say is this: just because I don't understand something doesn't mean it's not true. In fact, what would it be like to believe in a God that was so limited by my understanding? If a not so clever person like me could know God fully, do you know, I don't think he'd be worth knowing. So I'm glad I found Psalm 103 verse 19, because it confirms what I thought I knew when I looked at the life of Jesus, that the Lord has established his throne in heaven and his kingdom rules over all. Have a great week.